The sun glinted off the crystal-clear water of the billionaire's backyard pool. But what shimmered beneath the surface wasn't ordinary piranhas, sharp, fast, and deadly. No one expected this peaceful mansion to hide such a nightmare, and yet here it was, a symbol of wealth, power, and control. Everyone in the neighborhood whispered about the billionaire's strange ways, but no one could imagine the darkness lurking behind his perfectly manicured lawns. It all started on an ordinary afternoon, when his maid's daughter, a bright and fearless young girl, was visiting. She had always been curious about the world she served from the outside, never suspecting that her life would suddenly be thrown into unimaginable danger. One careless moment, one wrong glance, and she found herself teetering on the edge of that infamous pool. The billionaire, known for his charm and ruthlessness, had made a choice that would shock anyone who heard the story. His intentions weren't clear at first. Was it a cruel joke, or something far worse? And then, in a twist no one saw coming, the situation turned upside down. Suddenly, it was him begging, pleading for a mercy that seemed impossible. This is a story of fear, power, and the shocking lengths people will go to protect those they love or to save themselves. As the tension rises, one question lingers. Will the girl escape? And what will happen to the man who thought he could control everything? You won't believe what happens next. The girl's heart pounded as she clung to the edge of the pool, her small hands slipping slightly on the slick marble. She had always been cautious, always aware of the invisible lines drawn between the wealthy families she served and the life she lived outside their walls. But nothing had prepared her for this moment, nothing except the instinct to survive. The water below her seemed to ripple with a dark promise, and the fear in her chest made it hard to think clearly. The billionaire, a man whose wealth and influence seemed untouchable, suddenly looked small in the face of the danger he had created. His tailored suit was disheveled, his usual arrogance replaced with panic. As he leaned over the pool, shouting her name and waving his arms, no one had ever seen him like this, helpless, desperate, begging for a life that hung by a thread. But the tension wasn't just in the moment itself. It was built over years. The girl's mother had worked tirelessly in that mansion, invisible to the outside world but intimately aware of the billionaire's moods, his whims, and his secrets. She had always warned her daughter to be careful, to stay within safe boundaries, but the curiosity that had driven the girl to explore the grounds this afternoon had led her straight into a nightmare. Staff, and even the few close friends the billionaire had, all watched from a distance, unsure whether to intervene or stay hidden. And as the minutes stretched, the question grew more urgent. Who truly held the power in that moment? The man with billions, or the girl fighting for her life? The answer was far from clear, and every heartbeat brought new fear. The tension in the mansion was suffocating, like a storm about to break. Inside, the staff whispered anxiously in corners, sharing glances that said more than words could. The girl's mother, who had arrived just moments earlier, froze at the edge of the pool. Her eyes widened in horror, not at the danger itself, but at the helplessness of the situation. She had spent years protecting her daughter from the world's cruelties, and now the ultimate test was unfolding right in front of her. From the balcony above, the billionaire's closest associates watched in silence. Some were frozen by fear, unsure if stepping in would provoke his wrath. Others considered calling for help but feared the scandal that would follow. This was more than just a shocking accident. It was a glimpse into the darkest corners of wealth and power, where fear, control, and desperation collided. Meanwhile, the girl's mind raced. She had always been clever, quick, and observant. Every inch of the poolside, every reflection in the water, became a part of her strategy. She realized that survival might depend not on brute strength, but on understanding the man who had put her here. He was panicked now, but how far would he go to save Face or himself? Could she turn his fear to her advantage, or would it be too late? The billionaire's begging grew louder, his voice cracking as he pleaded for a mercy that seemed almost impossible to grant. And as the minutes dragged on, the mansion itself seemed to hold its breath. Every shadow, every whisper, every movement was charged with danger and uncertainty. The question lingered in everyone's mind. In a house built on money and control, who really had the power in this deadly game, and what would they risk to protect or destroy it? The air around the pool grew heavy, almost electric, as the billionaire's voice cracked again, this time trembling with raw desperation. Sweat dripped down his forehead, his hands shaking as he reached toward the edge. Knowing he was powerless to act quickly enough, the girl's fingers dug into the slick marble, her knuckles white, as she balanced between terror and the sharp instinct to survive. Every muscle in her body screamed to move, to find a way out. Yet the danger lurking beneath the water seemed to mock her courage. From the shadows, the mother's voice broke through the tense silence, a mixture of fear and authority. She shouted instructions, but each command seemed swallowed by the vastness of the mansion and the chaos of the moment. The staff watched frozen, some reaching for their phones, some paralyzed by disbelief, and some silently praying that the girl's cleverness and instincts would carry her. Through the billionaire's pleading grew frantic, a mix of guilt, fear, and disbelief. His fortune and influence, once untouchable, meant nothing in the face of this immediate threat. He began pacing, glancing around for something, anything, to regain control. Every second stretched unbearably, The sound of the girl's shallow breaths mingling with his own frantic gasps. Time seemed suspended. The shadows shifted across the pool, glinting off the water in ways that made it look even more dangerous. Every eye in the mansion was locked on the girl, every heartbeat echoing the tension that hung thickly in the air. And just as a flicker of hope appeared a possible escape, a risky move, the scene froze on the edge of disaster. Every instinct, every choice, every moment from here on would decide who held power, who survived, and who would be forever changed. Just when it seemed the girl might find a fragile moment of advantage, a sudden movement from the water sent a ripple across the pool that wasn't there before. Something shifted beneath the surface, faster than anyone could track, and her eyes widened in alarm. The piranhas, restless and hungry, seemed to sense her hesitation. Every instinct screamed at her to move, but the edge of the marble was slick, her grip tenuous, and the billionaire's desperate arms flailed uselessly above her. Then another shock struck. From the side gate, a new figure appeared, someone no one had anticipated. A mysterious guest, long thought harmless, stepped onto the deck, and their arrival instantly changed the energy of the scene. Their gaze swept over the girl, the billionaire, and the pool with an intensity that made even the staff shiver. Whispers ran through the mansion as everyone realized this person might have their own agenda, one that could make the situation far more dangerous. The billionaire froze, his begging faltering as his attention split. The girl sensed the shift immediately. Someone else now held part of the power, and she could no longer predict who would act first. Fear mingled with opportunity. She realized that navigating this new twist would take every ounce of courage and wit she had. Tension coiled like a spring in the mansion. Staff held their breath. The mother's voice shook, and the water itself seemed alive, reflecting the chaos above it. Every second that passed heightened the danger. Every glance hinted at betrayal, and every choice could tip the balance toward disaster. The question loomed larger than ever. Who would survive? Who would falter? And what shocking consequences would this sudden twist unleash? The mansion seemed to hold its breath as the girl made her move. With a sudden lightning-quick shift, she swung one leg over the edge and propelled herself away from the water. The piranhas lunged, creating a frenzied splash, but she landed safely on the deck, her heart hammering and her mind racing. The billionaire froze in disbelief, his pleading replaced by shock and fear. He had never expected her to fight back with such courage and speed. The mysterious guest, who had appeared out of nowhere, stepped closer, revealing a connection to the girl's mother that no one had anticipated. Their presence wasn't there to harm, it was there to protect, and in that moment, the power in the mansion shifted entirely. The billionaire realized that his wealth and control meant nothing compared to the unity and quick thinking of those he had underestimated. His arrogance crumbled as he fell to his knees, begging for mercy, and this time, the girl and her mother held the upper hand, just as the tension seemed to dissolve. A final twist shattered the moment of relief. The mysterious guest revealed evidence of the billionaire's long-hidden secrets to legal dealings, betrayals, and manipulation that would ruin him publicly. The mansion's grandeur and the piranha-infested pool now symbolized not power, but exposure and vulnerability. In the end, the girl emerged safe, wiser, and stronger, her mother proud, while the billionaire faced the consequences of his actions. Yet even as calm returned to the estate, a lingering question remained. In a world where wealth can mask danger and